I'll tell you all about it. That was real good. That was money, first of all. Let's do another.
What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight, and you are watching The Real Review 3000 here with another episode of The Gospel According to Chris. And today I have Ruthy, Star Wars for Life, with me. And Ruthy, thank you so very much. This was kind of a last-second thing. I appreciate that you did this for me. Go ahead and tell everybody out there a little bit about yourself, where they can find you, what you're about, all that fun stuff.
Hi, I'm Ruthy. I'm part of the Fandom Menace. I do have a review channel, but right now it's a little bit hiatus because I have a little bit of technical problems with it, but it'll be running up soon. If you want to subscribe to that, great, thank you. I also have a fan page to Geeks and Gamers for all the Geeks and Gamers fans. It's at WW84 Life, and if you want to be a part of that, go ahead and you can find me on Instagram on that, and that'll be awesome. I've been a part of this community for about 2 years. I got introduced through Geeks and Gamers. I'm a mod on the channel and many others, and I really love my community, and that's pretty much my story. I'm just a fangirl, and I have a lot of friends in the community of the Phantom Menace, and I absolutely love being part of it.
Indeed, and yeah, I mean, you help out a lot of people. You do some cool image work for a lot of us. I mean, you're always on our Couture page, our Couture group chat, talking to people, retweeting people. I mean, you help out this community greatly, and I think it's a great thing to have you on here because what you do, it's not just because of that, but you do great stuff for Jeremy, Geeks and Gamers, and our community in general, and everybody in it. So I personally want to thank you for doing those things. It's really great that you do that.
Thank you. That's very nice of you.
So today we're going to talk movies, but we're going to kind of narrow it down to 3. We might talk some more, but we're going to talk a little bit about 2 trailers: Wonder Woman 84, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then we'll get into the interesting movie, The Rise of Skywalker. Interesting is about the way I can put it right now.
Yeah.
I was on till like midnight last night on a couple different streams, one with Comics Division and then one with 19K Fox. Fox had that, and I enjoy doing these streams. I have a little bit different opinion of Star Wars, so we'll get into that here in just a little bit. Let's talk about this Wonder Woman 84 movie, though. When you first saw the trailer, what were your first thoughts about this?
Okay. Oh my God. First of all, Wonder Woman is my favorite DC character and is my favorite superhero above anybody. That's my to-go-to superhero. I love it. My mom introduced me to Wonder Woman with Linda Carter when I was younger, so
Awesome.
me and my mom share that, and we just love everything Wonder Woman. And when I saw this trailer, the first thing that hit me was the music.
Yeah.
It blew me away. You see the trailer and you just get into the music.
Indeed.
And go ahead.
Oh no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just keep going.
Oh, and then I heard on Twitter before I saw the trailer. Oh, it's gonna be woke. It's not good. And I was like, you know what? To hell with all the opinions. I'm gonna just go with what I want to see. Usually that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I was saying, I was getting into the music and boom, it starts. I just start seeing Wonder Woman, and honestly, the whole trailer was awesome. I loved it from the beginning till the end. Just when she started talking, and then you see Steve Trevor, and then you see the new villain. It really captured my attention. That trailer was awesome. I love Patty Jenkins. I think she's a great director.
Indeed.
And I honestly feel that this movie is going to be great. I think what she did with Wonder Woman, the original movie, was great. I really enjoy the movie, but this one, I'm really looking forward to the whole 80s vibe. I really like the whole 80s vibe going. And I can't wait to see how they're going to bring Steve Trevor back. And I can't wait to see how Cheetah's performance going to be. That's the one that's really piquing my interest, how they're going to portray her
Yeah.
in the trailer. I mean, in the movie. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree that when I saw it, I was just like, yes. I love the music. Good point right there. The music was just perfect. The that's New Order's Blue Monday, I think.
Yes.
But it's like whatever they did, they digitally redid it, and it's cool how they did it with just that do.
Oh, I know. I love that.
Really
That's
quick,
so awesome.
just so you know, Sean Stackhouse is in the chat, and he said hi, Ruthy, or actually, he just said Ruthy with a bunch of exclamation points behind it. So,
Hi, Sean.
got a few people in here: Hanstar, UCU, United Comics Universe, wished upon an ass, wished upon a bitch, wished upon a, all those ones.
That's my friend. He's funny. He's everyone's friend now. He's so funny.
And then you have I guess an admirer in here. The account is Ruthy speaks better Spanish than drunk 3PO, and that person says heyo. Heyo. So let's talk about this real quick. I am in total agreement with this. I don't see anything woke about this, and I think, and Sean and I talk about and I talk about this a lot about there was a way to do a female superhero, and it was Wonder Woman. And then Disney did Captain Marvel and showed how you do not do it. Wonder Woman is excellent. While, yes, it's a strong female, it's all about her abilities and how she is more able and better at just about everything than everybody on screen. But she's just not perfect. She has issues. She has turmoil. She has all this stuff. So she's a compelling character. But it's how they tell the story with her that makes it not woke. It's not about that. It's still a character progression, and you see the character grow up within themselves in the first one. And in this one, it looks like we get some more of that. We're going to see, obviously, when Steve shows back up, it's going to affect her because she thought this guy was dead. And we don't know how he comes back. We don't know what exactly the whole thing is. At least I don't. I haven't looked at any spoilers if there's any out there about it. But we know that there's going to be some emotion in this because of that. And I think I've always looked at Wonder Woman as a proper way to do a female superhero movie. And what do you think about that?
Okay, well, first of all, when I watch any movie with superheroes, I never really pay attention to like if it's woke or not. I just pay attention to the character. And when she did the first Wonder Woman movie, she totally embraced that movie. You know, you saw how she was very feminine. She was very I'm not saying naive to the new world, but she brought her character being just, she didn't know what the world was really like, and she embraced in the first movie the whole story that way that I saw, and going into this new trailer, I think that she is stronger now. She knows her capabilities as her strength, because she's been on I guess now it's going to be taking place in the United States. So, she's had time to develop her skills as far as living amongst, the modern world. And I honestly feel like when she's remembering Steve, it takes her back to those moments when, she felt in love, and you can still see that she only loved one person.
Mm-hmm.
And as a female, I think she's going to embrace that big time, and I don't know how they're going to bring Steve back. I find it very interesting. I don't think they're going to do like some kind of time travel. I feel like the new villain.
Mhm.
I've never seen any spoilers on this. Maybe the new villain's powers is gonna somehow affect the way he's gonna come back. That's kind of my take on that.
That's
But go ahead.
I was gonna say that's kind of what I thought. There's a part I'd have to go back and watch the trailer for sure to know exactly what the line is, but it sounds like he's trying to sell something to the general public that is, you wait for it, I give it to you. And I'm wondering if whether or not maybe somebody she knows that this person meant something to her, maybe they wished it for her, or she does it herself. Or I mean, I don't know, but I kind of think that's where it comes down. I think that's where it's going to come into play.
Exactly. That's kind of where I got the idea from too, and it's obvious because I think that's kind of what they were hinting at in the trailer. And but as far as like strong female characters, I think when you're doing a strong female character, you should show all sides of them. You know how, because as women we are sensitive. You know, I think it's important to display our emotions. We're more emotional than men. We are in some cases, but you know, we lead with the heart. We lead with our, you know, our nature of being the, you know, caregivers. And I think when superheroes, especially females, are being shown, those are important qualities that I think they should, you know, show. And I think she did a brilliant job doing that in the first Wonder Woman movie, and bringing it into this one. I do want to see more of her, you know, sensitivity and, you know, appreciating men the way women really do it. And I think Patty Jenkins does a great job doing showing that side of the female character, because it's always good to show their strengths and how powerful women are, but show every aspect of a woman, especially, you know, nowadays when you're taking female characters and just giving, you know, just giving them the entitlement just to be, you know, I'm strong, I'm a female, I can take on any man. No, just keep true to the original character, how they were developed. And the truth is, they're developed by who, I don't know exactly who wrote Wonder Woman in the comic books, but you know, the way it was written, they should just be authentic to the way her character was developed. You know, that's how I see the take on female superheroes.
The creator was William Moulton Marston and H.G. Peter. And there is actually, if I remember right, a movie called Wonder Women that I think was about him, and at the beginning of the comic, if I remember. I could be wrong. You have really good points about that, and you know, I think we talk about that a lot in the Fandom Minutes, and of course we get called toxic and all that great stuff, because all we try to say when it comes to a female character is if you give her everything, if she's just innately just perfect at the beginning of a movie or in her part, if you do that, you're actually not helping a woman's cause at all. You are only saying that if you give them everything, that's when they're strong. If you show a progression of how a woman becomes strong or how she is strong without giving it to them, much like Wonder Woman was done, you actually help the cause more, that women are strong. It's just they also, like you said, they also do care about they care about men. They're nurturing. They're not just, oh, stand back, I can do this all on myself. They accept help when they need help. They're honest about it, but they are strong people. And when you show all of that in one, it helps paint women in a better light, in my opinion, than when you get somebody who just always has it or always is perfect in their role. And you know, that's a really good point that you made.
Well, I think that it brings women down when you just, like, you know, like Ray, like a Mary Sue, you know.
Yep.
You know, a female, like when I'm at work, you know, and it's being part of a team. You know, I can go. I have a second job too. It's retail. This is more towards that. Just an example. You know, and I have to make sure that everything. I'm in charge of a department, and I have to make sure things done, pallets are picked up before we open and stuff like that. And I can go ahead and, lift it and put it on there. It's going to take me more time. But if I ask a guy, hey, can you help me lift this? We can do it together and lift up the pallet. You know what I mean? You have to play as a team. You can't, women want to be successful. We want to have, our right to, grow within companies. But when it comes to earning our way, we want to be respected by the work that we do. I don't want, and when they say, well, I'm just going to get everything done and I'm going to have everyone do it for me. No, we work our way up. And when you watch a movie, you want your character to relate to your life in real life and work, we want to see them develop the way a woman develops and work their way up to any kind of story that they're telling. And when you see a woman just overtaking a man, and as far as like, oh, I'm stronger than you, I can show you that, I'm better than you, so I really don't need your help. Thank you. I don't need anything from a man because I am a woman, I can do anything. That's bullshit. No, we need to work together to do things. And when I'm at work, I need the help of my male counterpart to help me do things. And if I show him the respect that he's showing me, he's going to respect me more because I'm taking into consideration him as an employee and him seeing that, yeah, I'm strong, but I respect you enough that we can work together. And, that shows me that women who think that they can do everything and don't need a man, it's bullshit. No, we need males and we need to work with them to grow in any aspect in our lives. And when you downplay a man and make him feel less than who we are, you're really destroying yourself because you're not giving yourself that respect of his respect towards you. Do you see what I'm saying with this?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, and I totally agree with you.
And,
it's not about.
And I think, yeah, and I think that's the whole aspect in the fandom. Is like, you don't have to tear other people down to bring yourself up. Either just grow together. And this whole feminist thing where women get so angry at men just for stupid reasons. That's not what feminism is about. It's about everybody being equal, not just one gender. You know what I mean? And women fought for their rights, but they're also fighting for the rights of men, any ethnicity group. But it shouldn't be twisted and turned into something bad like it has been in our culture now. That's what I'm
going to read a comment here from Thomas Gilkey. He's in the chat. First off, he did say, "Hail, Ruthy." So, hail.
Oh, hi, Thomas.
And then this is the next thing he wrote. He said, I just have to say, Ruthy is the most supportive person in the Fandom Menace. She means so much to all of us, and we all love her so much.
Oh, that's so sweet. He's also been a huge fan of Geeks and Gamers for a long time, and he's also been very supportive in everything that he does. Thomas really goes out there and does so much for everybody too. I always see him everywhere in all the live streams and in the community. He's awesome.
Yes, he is. So let's talk a little bit about the trailer that we saw. So we do get the point that I gotta say this. 84, the 80s is a perfect era for Wonder Woman. The look of her costume, the way that she always came across. Linda Carter, I think it'd be hilarious. I don't know if they'll do this, but I would think it would just be funny because of the year to have, like, at some point a TV playing in the background with Wonder Woman going on, just because even though nobody knows who she really is in the movies, that somebody admires Wonder Woman, this woman that comes out and helps people and saves people and all that. They admire so much that they make a TV show about it, and then they just show the Linda Carter clips. I think that would be hilarious to do that.
Oh, or a cameo. I'm sure.
I'm almost positive that this one, because I want to say that the last one they were playing it pretty close to the best, because they just wanted to make sure they made a good movie, and they didn't spend a ton of money, and they actually wanted to make sure that they could keep this franchise, this person, this character going. So they did everything they could to focus on the really important things. I think in this movie we're going to see more fun, exploratory things going on, and I wouldn't doubt that Linda Carter, after the first one's probably gonna look at this and go like, I want to come in and play something. Who knows what, but it would be really awesome. And Thomas, I just read what you said. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. He said I'm supportive too, which I try to be, but Thomas, you, Ruthy, and there's some other people out there are just, you guys are always there for everybody, and it's just amazing. I mean, we all admire you guys for what you do. So I think the 80s are really good for this, but so there's a lot of cool things. There's the lightning where she's using her whip on the lightning. There's all the things she does with her whip in this trailer. The like lasso circle that goes and hits the guy when it's spinning around. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I see that we're going to get a lot more of what the lasso can do in this movie.
Well, from what I saw an article that Lethal Lightning did, and I saw it before he posted it, and then he did a video. She's not using her sword or her shield in this one. I don't remember why. I don't see a problem with that. Like,
no.
They want to, and then another thing that I think they're going to embrace is her plane.
Yeah.
I really want to see how they're going to do that. And yes, you're right. The 80s. See, I don't know if you notice in our culture now, everyone's obsessed with the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And especially 80s movies. Everybody wants to do like the 80s remix. We're very lucky that we were kids, in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Either if you late 80s, early 80s, we really had it good when it came to movies, 80s and 90s, I take it, and cartoons, all that, because we didn't have the internet. We were like in the middle of everything, for the baby boom and all that. So I think going back to the 80s, I remember I was a baby. Like, I was a little kid. I remember it was one of the most epic times. So to bring Wonder Woman into that time zone, because I've seen other people say, oh, it should have been like in the 2000s. And no, this is the perfect time to do it, because they can make other movies, relating to that later. This is the perfect time to do that whole series, because that's really when the whole embracement of her, I think, late 70s, earlys came to. And just seeing her live in that time zone, like you said, I think it is going to be very interesting. I do like the costumes. I do like the dress that she was wearing. That was beautiful. I did like that in this trailer a lot, the costumes that they were wearing.
Is that the one that's kind of like more like a pants? Like, it's got pants, but it's also got the dress on it, or it's like kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a parachute.
I think it was the night gown. It was a dress, but with the square, where they called they used to use those a lot on the shoulder pads. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The 80s, that's a
big
trend. Yeah, that dress I thought was beautiful. And the only, one thing I didn't like about the trailer, just one thing, was that they showed Kristen Wiig a little too early.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's the only critique I have about it. They should have just left her character at the beginning, not show her like, looking beautiful. Like, wait a little bit on that. But other than that, I love the trailer 100%. And that's when they announced that she was going to play Cheetah, I did take back a little bit. I was like, really, her? Like, they could have picked someone else. But then watching a lot of her movies, it's going to be very interesting how she's going to take on the role too. So that was pretty cool. But yes, the 80s era is perfect for this movie. Yeah. I think it's going to be a really good time zone for it.
Then, like I said, a lot of whip work in this, whip play, whatever you want to call it. It's just.
Oh yeah, with the lightning.
Yeah, I mean, that's all of that, everything I saw, I was just like, wow. I see that they're going to explore things that we all kind of wanted. Like you said, the plane. I mean, I'm interested to see how that's done because I've heard that that's supposed to be in this, and I think Sean Stackhouse said that it's somewhere really quick. You get a snippet of it during this. I'd have to go back and watch it. But
yeah, we did. We did see it.
Okay, I'll
Her
have to go
and
back
Steve
and
Trevor.
check it out. But you get that gold eagle suit or whatever it is there where I looked up pictures of this. This is something from the comic books, so it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of theories about what that could be. But when I see that, I'm trying to figure out how that's going to play into this because it's really an interesting look for her and for Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of that costume. But I know it's going to relate to the comic books, which I'm not a big comic book person at all. But when I did go back and look at a little bit of what that was related to, I did see that I did see a poster to it in the comic book. So that's going to be, actually, I think that's going to be one of the main storylines for it. Like, that's going to be huge, why she's wearing that costume. And also, one thing I do like about the trailer, I think is going to affect the costume, is her going back to the Amazon island that she's from. I know that little girl that's running. I know that's her. Like, maybe when she was training with her aunt. I love that scene. I thought that in the trailer was awesome when they're going back and showing how she's training as she was growing. That's going to be really interesting to see. And I think that whole I don't know, my take on it, maybe the costume's going to go back to the storyline's going to tell us a little bit more about that, what's the symbolism to the costume. And when she goes back in, I honestly think she's just remembering as she was growing up back then. So maybe that might play into it. I'm not sure. Just
we
by
got
seeing the
Terrence
trailer.
we got Terrence in the chat, and he says Wonder Woman's eagle armor is important in the comics. I haven't read a lot of the Wonder Woman comics, but I did know that, and I looked it up because we were talking about that on the stream that I did with Sean when we watched the trailer live. I'm interested to see how they use it here. I know you said that you're not that into it, but that's okay. I mean, I'm into, again, I'm just really excited for this movie because it's like, it looks like they're going to explore so much more.
I'm not into character. Yeah, I'm not into the way it looks. Like, as far as the costume looks, it's not my favorite look for her.
Oh yeah.
But the story behind it, I'm very interested, of course, on how that's gonna play out. Especially like in the comic books, like they were saying, they're and that's a cool thing too. They're taking from the comic books and putting it into the story. So, but I have no knowledge of the comic books because I don't really read comic books. So yeah, that's an interesting whole part of the new trailer the movie when it comes out.
Yeah, DC. Yeah, Terrence says I'm into accuracy, and I agree, Terrence. That's exactly right.
That's great.
Apex. Hopefully, we'll see Batman in the credit scene since a new Batman film will be released just to get a taste of new Batman.
I really like what DC's doing now with their movies. I love the Joker. I thought that was a great movie, and I think they're going into different kinds of way of telling stories, and I'm really looking forward to like how they're developing their new way of telling stories in the DC universe. It seems different.
I like the direction, but I still have a very big problem with the fact that and not that I want to see her go. I have a problem with they still have Gal Gadot, they have Jason Momoa. We're pretty sure Henry Cavill's coming back as Superman. Pretty darn sure that's going to happen. So there's 3 of the characters from the 4 that they've introduced at the beginning of this whole startup. And then they rushed Justice League. Batman versus Superman was kind of mixed reviews. I liked the ultimate cut. But
I liked it. I liked Batman versus Superman.
I didn't see it in the theater, and I heard the theater cut was absolutely horrid. So I don't know. But my problem is that they're still moving forward with these characters that were in that stuff, but they're leaving Batman behind. They're going to introduce a new Batman, and I'm not sure how they're going to do that. And I'm not saying they can't do it, but I still think that DC is in a very fragile time of this newfound ability to make good movies, because these are really good movies, and they're doing a really good job right now where they're taking just enough from the comic books and incorporating it, but also making it so people who aren't familiar with the comic books can watch their movies and still get what's going on. They're doing a really good job of that. Marvel, I loved Marvel movies, I did, but they were very flashy and pretty, and then they'd throw in things that would totally screw with the comic books. Like if you watched the I think it was Iron Man 3, they did the Mandarin, and it ended up the guy was just a fake guy being videotaped, and that wasn't the Mandarin. That pissed a lot of us off, because we're like, if you're going to bring his main bad guy into this, you have to, really, you have to show respect to that. And yet they kind of just pissed it off and laughed at it. They made it a joke, and you don't do that. DC's really focusing on the important facts, the details, and I like that. I do like the way it looked. And Terrence says there's no need to worry about DC. The recent films, Aquaman, Shazam, Joker, have been on point. They have been, but I still don't see an absolute direction. And I know that they've said they're backing away from these group movies, and they're going to focus on one-offs and stuff like that, and that's fine. I really want to hear from the studio if they're done with the group of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman from Justice League. Then they just kind of need to say, okay, we're done with that. That we're just going to move forward. We're going to act like that didn't really happen, but the characters that were in that are going to still move forward in that universe. They need to give me a little more idea of what their direction is. I know they don't have to do it, but I like that from a studio. I like a studio that says, okay, we're not going to tell you what exactly we're going to do, but this is what our plan is.
Right. Well, I'm a casual, okay, fan when it comes to DC and Marvel. I'm not all up to date on what's going. I just go on what I like. Like when I see a trailer, I'm going to see the movie if I like it. Now, Star Wars, that's my franchise. That's what I invest my time in and my information on, and I watch all my YouTubers. Like I would never do a channel doing what YouTubers do, like analyzing everything as far as like Marvel or DC. But Star Wars, yes, I will. So I can speak on that. Like on Marvel and DC, I really don't know a lot, like how the stories or like the arc of everything is. I like Iron Man, so I'll just focus on the Iron Man movies. And then I did have to see Infinity War to see Endgame, so I focused on that. And I am a fan of Spider-Man, the original ones, because I grew up watching those ones. So I only have knowledge on what I find interesting. But as what I'm seeing with DC, I like what they're doing now. I just enjoy the movies that I can relate to, I guess you can say. And you're more invested. You want to see more aspects of what you know. So I can respect that. But as far as what I think they're doing new, I like it. I think that like the Joker, individual stories work. Maybe they're trying to figure out what they really want to do, and maybe they will focus again on teaming up different characters in the future.
I think
because of the failures of. Well, I liked Justice League. I didn't really, you know what? I didn't finish watching it the whole way because I fell asleep because I was working, I guess. But from what I saw, I mean, it was good. Aquaman, I loved, of course. What woman doesn't love Jason Momoa? That was a great movie. And as far as Superman versus Batman, I liked it because it introduced Wonder Woman. And my favorite scene was when he's being attacked by Doomsday, and then boom, she pops in. That and also I did like the characters acting within each other, Superman,
Oh yeah.
Batman, and her, the whole portrayal. Find the ending in some the movie too. Particularly did enjoy it. So maybe they're moving away from that because they weren't successful with the audience. I don't know, but as far as what they're doing with the Joker was huge, and I think
Awesome.
DC's maybe has to move into a different direction to it's a company, they want to make money, so maybe they're trying to figure out what works for them and what doesn't, and then Marvel has they're they know what they're doing as far as being very successful and continuing to make their franchise grow and be great, and I am very excited that I hope he does take over Star Wars. Anybody.
Well, I hope Dave Favreau and Filoni. I hope the two of
team
them.
up.
Yeah, I hope they get. I hope Favreau takes over Lucasfilm, and I hope Filoni works underneath him as the main creative force, and Filoni kind of makes sure that it stays on track. Now, they're not perfect. They do make their mistakes, but at least they own their mistakes and they're honest about it. And
they love Star Wars.
Exactly.
That's another thing.
And they have they're
in it for Star Wars. Yeah.
They have a good relationship with George Lucas.
Yeah.
And that means if they come in and they take over Lucasfilm, I really believe we're going to get more Lucas-inspired films. And I'm even somewhat not confident. Let me say, I'm hopeful that they may say we're going to we're going to bring back the EU. We're going to bring back the EU, and we're going to use the EU for our roadmap. And even though it might cost us some money because we have to pay people to use their characters or something, we're going to go to the EU because that's what Star Wars was. And yes, does it fit in the new trilogy? No, it doesn't, because they kill canon, they kill the EU.
Don't get me started.
Well, we're going to talk about this because we're going to go into that right now. Terrence is talking about it. He says, first off, let's see here. What did he say right here? So Terrence said the recent Star Wars movie was trash. They really did a bunch of random forced awkward content. The only emotion I felt was anger. Terrible movie. Now, this is what I have to say, and I'm going to do something on Monday about this. I'm going to really think about this over the weekend, and I'm going to give my impression.
I'm going to rewatch it over the weekend.
Well, I watched it twice yesterday. I have free tickets because the second time they messed up the 3D, so I got 3 more tickets. I might go again. I got a friend that works for a theater, so I might be able to get in. We'll see what happens. There's several ways I could do it, but I will tell you this: I like the movie, but
me too.
But as much as I've read back before all of this started, before episode 7 was done, before they did any of this, right when Disney bought it, I had started reading up already on episode 7 that Lucas had done or was getting ready to do. He was the beginning of episode 7. He started working on it, and somehow within that time, Disney found out probably was going to come in and just help, and then ended up probably Lucas was tired of Star Wars, wanted to take a break or leave it permanently, and Disney caught wind of it and made him some ungodly amount of money that probably Lucas, when he heard $4 billion, he was like, oh wow, bye, I'm gone. But everything I've read about episode 7 and what his trilogy was going to be, minus Palpatine, was basically thrown in episode 9. It literally was everything he wanted. So what we got to see is Lucas's trilogy put into one movie very quickly and very poorly. He always had a female protagonist in his last trilogy.
Yeah, Kira, I think was what he wanted.
And Luke and Leia were going to be in it. I think they were going to have twins. They were going to do kind of that twin thing with Leia and Han's kids. Leia was going to have been trained. We were going to get more backstory of what happened in the 7th movie. We're going to get more backstory about what Luke and the others had been doing between Return of the Jedi and his seventh movie. Anyways, basically everything I saw in this movie was one, predictable. Now, what's funny is I saw something where John Campea said that there were bold moves taken in this movie, and I said I can't understand how he thinks that, because everything that happened was predictable. Everything that happened was predictable. It wasn't like when it happened, I was like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. I was like, okay, there's that. I kind of figured that was going to happen. There were some pluses, though. I was happy with how they handled Carrie Fisher's death.
Me too.
I think they handled that very well. And I will say this, too, about this. J.J. Abrams coming back in actually did a better job of honoring the leftover legacy characters. Chewie was handled. He didn't die. I thought they were going to kill Chewie. I thought they were going to blow up the Millennium Falcon. And Lando was Lando. Basically, this felt a lot like Return of the Jedi. Everything in 7 and 9 was kind of like the light version of Star Wars with problems in it because they're just not following the roadmap that they had. Oh no, and Terrence says there are no bold moves, just bad moves. I agree that, and again, I didn't see any of the spoilers. I stayed away from every spoiler up until
Me too. I was off Twitter for 3 days, and that was so hard for me.
I know. Well, it's been hard for the past 6 months, and I even said it on both streams I was on last night. I said, as a YouTuber, what I do, I needed to be a part of those conversations people were having about these spoilers and stuff. I needed to be in there because that's just kind of what we do. But I have always gone to see these films totally blind. And that's how I had to finish this. I had to finish it the way I'd always come at it. Now, from now on, I will read every spoiler you want to send me about any movie you want to send it to me. I'm fine. Whatever. Do it. Except for maybe Indiana Jones 5. Well, I want to talk about things. I want to have people on. I want to be on stream.
There's a difference between a spoiler and your predictions. You know what I mean? If people are going to go off of already knowing kind of what's happening, and I mean, it's happening like in Reddit. It's happening for Game of Thrones. These spoilers are actually the truth. You know what I mean? And I don't have Reddit. I don't want Reddit because the spoilers are becoming 90%, 100%. So when you take a spoiler, it's could be the truth now. So it's gonna ruin the movie for me. Well, now if you have like when the Force Awakens came out and you have all these, predictions of what you think, that's fine, or speculations, that's awesome. But I honestly don't want to see spoilers anymore. Even my favorite YouTubers, like I didn't watch any of them. I did promote them, I did tweet them.
Yeah, I know.
I watched the beginning and tweet them out, but I didn't actually watch the video because that's usually what I do. Mm-hmm. And I watched the video, but I didn't even the streams because of the I understand you and your position because that's what you do. You have to hear every side because you do movie reviews and stuff. I just do movie reactions and how I feel about movie. That's a different take on it. But I understand your position. But for me personally, I don't like spoilers. I'll spoil it after the movie's out a couple of days and I'll let people know, but on Twitter. But other than that,
I might, I might have certain movies. I'll say, no, I don't want to do that. And I'll
right.
But, I'll take it with a little less seriousness now because I got through this one. And this was the trilogy I was really wanting to do that because I want to go, I want to go and do this video on Monday where I really sit down like I've always said I would do is after the trilogy was done, I will look at it as a whole like I've done all the other ones and said, this is why this was what it was. Or, was it good? Was it bad? Whatever. I'll give that all out.
Right.
Now,
I think a lot of people are going to do that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, Terrence said that Princess Leia's death was a fail. All she did was talk and she died. That was cringe writing. If I've ever seen it, I'm not going to put my Star Wars blinders on for this film. Nope, can't do it. Now, was the writing great? No, it wasn't. But with what they had to work with, the way that she did it, she went and she was trying to reach her son and bring him back or whatever from the dark side. I didn't mind how it was done. it wasn't the greatest written scene. And the fact that Maz knew she was going to die. Basically, you could tell by the way she said it's going to take everything she has to do this. We knew what that scene was going to be. And then, yes, they had voiceover work. They had extra stuff that they clipped together. There was a lot of, they just gave as much as they could of what Carrie Fisher gave them. And I'm just happy they didn't go and recast her. Maybe that's the big thing. I think it was respectful the way they handled it. Not necessarily the best writing, not necessarily the best way that it looked, but it was respectful. That's more what I meant. Hey, I saw your fire, Bear says.
I, as far as the movie is concerned, okay, I did not like the way they, from the beginning with the whole Palpatine's back. You know, they're telling everything at the moment. They didn't lead up to, the story was bad. The story,
right from the get-go, they bring him. I thought that they were some explanation. No, you're right. That's definitely right. I thought it was going to be a little bit into the movie that we get that, but no, that's right at us. There was no context.
They don't even give us it until the end. Like I didn't see, you know, and I liked Palpatine's character in the movie. Like, you know, I wanted to see more of, you know, lead into it. Don't just like, boom, here's Palpatine. Boom, here's that was the problem with this movie. Everything was like already like there.
This
you know,
is a standalone movie. This doesn't actually fit into the trilogy. It's a standalone movie.
None of these movies fit into each other.
No, they don't.
The Force Awakenings doesn't connect. George Lucas did have an outline for all three. He had 7, 8, and 9 already planned out.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to honor in the last trilogy the original characters and bring in his grandkids. Boom, we got the EU. That I did read that as much as I know. Now, as far as focusing on the movies from day one, I'd rather have J.J. Abrams just tell the whole story himself, all 3 trilogies, because I think having so many directors and having Kathleen Kennedy not know what he's doing messed up everything. Everything wrong with this trilogy, even the directors. I'm gonna leave it at a step a little bottom. They're the directors. They're bringing their vision in. I can respect that. They can make a good movie. They can make a bad movie. I can respect that. I don't like that they shit on the fans, but putting all that aside, the only person to blame for this entire mess is Kathleen Kennedy, because she should have from the beginning said, okay, you want to bring your version into it, you want to bring yours into it, but they have to connect. You guys have to sit down and plan it out. All three of the directors, you know, that's how they should have came into this process. I'm a Star Wars fan. I waited 10 years. I wouldn't have mind waiting a little bit more to get good quality stories. Give these characters. I mean, when I heard they were making the finale to the trilogy, I was like, oh my God, we're gonna see, you know, we're gonna get into seeing Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Han, you know, getting them all back together.
Exactly.
And they should have taken their time with this trilogy. They should have taken everything into consideration, taken the story and just try it. It's Disney, you know. I thought when Disney was going to take it over, they were going to honor George Lucas' vision, you know, and come back into it. Yeah, and they didn't. They fucked everything up.
Yeah.
They went from the first one, they didn't connect to the second one. Rian Johnson's like, I'm going to do what I want. But honestly, Kathleen Kennedy is to blame for everything.
I want her fired. And I hope this.
Well, we all want her fired. We all want her gone. But as far as
movie might happen, I think this movie might be the end of it. It depends on how it performs. Some people, think it's going to make $1 billion, and if it does that, she won't go. She's got like 2 years left on her contract. They'll probably let her ride it out, and then she'll be gone.
Yeah, I honestly think they're just going to let her ride it on. Do I think she's going to be more effective in how Star Wars is going to be? No, I think they're going to look at this whole situation and be like, oh, this didn't work either.
She hasn't,
but I think they're going to leave her
on Disney Plus. I think Filoni's got the one. Favreau Filoni has the one. Cho's getting Obi-Wan. I think that's in good hands. Leave Kathleen Kennedy's name on the credits. Just give her the credit and put her name on there, but leave her out of it.
But Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say a couple other things about this. And again, this is just minor things that doesn't make it a better movie. I did appreciate that when they brought Palpatine back, they at least acknowledged that he was dead, because what they did is they basically had him on a life support system, like somebody had found him. Now, how that would have happened, I'm not saying it's possible. I'm just saying they had him on this little gurney thing that was toting him around with these things in him to keep him alive. So I was like, okay, well, that at least works better than what I thought they were going to do. But I think if they had just used him as a hologram, like when they went into
no, that would have been worse.
Well, when they went into the throne room, when she goes into the throne room and goes in that room to get the holocron, even though they call it a wayfinder, I'm sorry guys, that's a holocron. Know what you're talking about here. The holocron in there, when she goes to get it, she has the vision of the evil Rey, and then she backs up and falls. If she had hit a button or something, because again, why there's power on what's left of this Death Star, I don't know, because the door opens. So how the hell does that work? But she falls back, she hits a button, and this hologram comes up of a message that he sends before Luke and Darth Vader come to the throne room, because he knows, because Palpatine was a smart Sith. He was strong in the Force. He would have been able to have some sort of vision that things weren't going to go exactly the way he thought they were going to go. So to protect what he had made, the Empire, you have him make this hologram, and it sends out to the fleet, I want you to go to the outer regions and wait for instructions. And I have left something on the Death Star for you to find your way to the Empire's salvation, meaning all those ships and stuff. If he'd done something like that, if they had just had that and maybe a few nods back to the original trilogy, I would have been much more accepting of that. They bring him back because Ryan Johnson killed off the bad guy. I mean, I didn't think he was dead. And then they just basically say it right up in the first few minutes. They just get it out and be done with it. And it's like, that's the biggest problem. Because if J.J. Abrams had done all three of these movies, we would have gotten a Star Wars light trilogy that at least may have stepped on the toes of canon a little bit, but would have been at least somewhat cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
But when you kill Snoke off, who was obviously designed to be the bad guy for the whole damn thing, and when you kill off all your main legacy characters, you're left with crap. They literally, right. I mean, and the fact that originally what they said was that this movie was supposed to be Leia's arc of all of this. The first one was Han's arc. The second one was supposed to be Luke's arc. That was screwed up. All of this was screwed up. I mean, Han's arc, maybe we got a little bit of that. It wasn't horrid. But when you screw up and fuck up The Last Jedi as much as Ryan Johnson did, which is very apparent when you see this movie, how badly it was handled. When you have all that happen, and then Leia, Carrie Fisher, dies, and you can't finish her arc, you're left with crap. And they had to throw all of this crap at it. Trevorrow, I think is his name, Colin Trevorrow, who was supposed to do this trilogy, or this episode, he has point blank called Kathleen Kennedy and JJ liars, that they said that Palpatine was always going to be in this. Because he said, he wasn't in my script. We had never talked about it when I was on board for this, and he wasn't going to be in it.
I want to see the his cut of what he could have done, the Favreau cut. You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, look, this whole movie, I'm not going to give J.J. Abrams a pass on this. You know, he saw I know, but he saw how they took the first movie. The first movie as a setup movie was okay.
Yeah.
The more and more I see it, I'm seeing so many faults with it.
Yeah.
But I liked it. You know, it was okay.
Mhm.
But you from that movie, you're like, we're not gonna get them all three together. Boom. You know, I think that was their biggest mistake. Maybe they should have killed Han if they wanted to. I don't know now. And I think the ground for this whole movie was 8, and they totally messed up
Mhm.
on 8. We all know that The Last Jedi was the worst movie, but look at time with Palpatine here, and let me see how I can, you know, really, really recon a lot of how I wanted to take my version. Yes, he had the opportunity to make a great movie out of 9. He had the opportunity. You cannot tell me in this whole planet that he couldn't have taken so many different ways of explaining himself in this last chapter. He could have really done an amazing job and blown everybody away if he would have taken the time to develop his story. And I don't know if people were like, look, this isn't working, that isn't working. I heard he had to retake, he had to redo a lot of things because he wanted to please people. I
Yeah.
would have been like, fuck it. Rian Johnson fucked up my trilogy. He didn't respect the beginning of my storyline. Fuck Rian Johnson. I'm going to do my version of it. I'm going to show you how you're going to finish this trilogy. I'm going to show Star Wars fans how we're going to make this right. He had the opportunity to do it, and he didn't. He didn't do it in this movie. I appreciate some things that he did in this movie. There were some great, you know, like moments, and I did tear up on some moments, but he didn't do his job.
No,
You know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've said up until this came out, there was an easy way to fix this, to go back to what he wanted to do, which was really simple.
Right.
You do 15 minutes or so, 10 minutes or so, whatever, of immediately after the Last Jedi, where the Falcon and all the people on it, the Resistance that's on it, you know, how they fit all those people in there, who knows, whatever. The Resistance, the other ships, everything goes off of Crate, and Kylo Ren follows them and actually destroys them. We see them destroy the Falcon. We see them destroy the rest of the ships. The Resistance is dead. And then you do what we call a smash shot, which is literally zooming in on a person or a thing, and then pulling the camera back and focusing on them and zooming in on them all at one time, and it makes for this really cool effect. But you do it to Luke, and you see Luke's eyes, and it comes out, and this has all been a force vision of his. He has looked into the future, and it's now before Episode 7, and he now knows what Kylo's going to do. He knows what he's going to do, and instead of trying to hurt him, because he's already seen that he did that, and he didn't like seeing that, instead of doing that, he knows he has to go and get Rey, because he knows Rey is going to be some sort of a buffer in this. She's either the other half of the light, or she is the balance to however this works out. And so he goes and finds her, brings her back to his Jedi Academy or his Jedi Temple, and works with him, or with Kylo and her, and it pisses him off that he's showing her the same time as him, because he thinks he's this great Jedi, or should be this great Jedi, kind of like how Anakin was. And then he runs off and starts to do this stuff, but that Luke knows he has to give this training to Rey. That's what Episode 9 should have started out as. And basically, Episode 9 should have been him training her and fixing everything. Because basically what you're doing is you're wiping out everything else as nothing but a vision that Luke had. And at least by doing that, you can go back and you can really fix some of the problems. That's how JJ could have fixed this, by bringing back Snoke, by bringing back all of this stuff and saying, I know I have to rewrite this, but I'm going to do it my way. But I still think it would have been Star Wars light. JJ just doesn't put a lot of time into things. He's flash, he's bangs, he's colorful. It looks good. It looks the part, but when you really start tearing it apart, it becomes less and less what you think it was. No, it's not. Oh, I
Go
just
ahead.
was reading what Terrence said here. Chris, this is not a good time for Star Wars fans, with the exception of The Mandalorian. That show is cool. I'd rather watch that, Baby Yoda and The Mandalorian all day. And that's right. And I want to say something. The people out there that say Star Wars is dead, you understand this is done. We're done with this trilogy. Throw it out of your memory, leave it behind. Let Kathleen Kennedy sit in her office for another 2 years if that's what happens. And then she'll probably walk away because people hate her. I'm hoping. I don't think Iger's going to give her another contract. And let's hope that this Mandalorian over the next 2 years or so gets enough of a following, fixes the problems they do have, and Filoni and Favreau both show Iger, we know Star Wars. We give Star Wars its due credit. Give it to us, and we will make you money because we're going to play to the fans. We're going to give true Star Wars fans what they want. That's what you need to hope for here. Don't think Star Wars is dead. Hope that this version of Star Wars that we just got done with is dead. Hope that is dead, but not Star Wars in general. Let's move forward. Let's forget about this and let's not focus on this and give them the satisfaction that we're still focusing on something that was not handled right. Let's show our focus to the Mandalorian. And if Obi-Wan is good, let's show our focus to that and say, this is what we really like. This is what we want. That way they know that Filoni and Favreau and Cho and these people who've been doing a good job with these shows, let them know that that's what you want in Lucasfilm. That's what we need to do.
I think that this trilogy is it's done. You know,
Yeah.
We've been focused on The Last Jedi for the past like 2 years, and I'm sick of it. Like, I'm over the whole Last Jedi thing. I'm this trilogy, people, because, you know, they have to stay relevant, they have to keep their audience happy, you know, YouTubers and stuff. I think it will die down within time, and we should focus on things like the
Mandalorian.
new series. Yeah, Mandalorian. Sorry, I'm so tired.
You're right.
Like the Mandalorian. And I agree with you. I do think that we should, you know, move on from this and continue on good things with Star Wars. I never, ever, ever feel that Star Wars is dead. That's just, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're gonna love it, you know. However you see Star Wars. But as far as the trilogy goes, it's a mess. We see how Kathleen Kennedy doesn't respect or care about George Lucas' legacy. It's sad. But you know what? I do feel that does happen in the future, because I've seen, you know, how they retake Batman, you know, and they give it a different spin to his story. I hope in the future they do recon this shit and give us the EU version. You never know. That could happen in the future.
I said,
maybe 20 years from now, or 10, or, you know.
I honestly
feel they might do that.
I think if Filoni and Favreau get a hold of this, I think we have a really good chance of them saying, okay, guys, all that crap that they talked about before this, throw it out. We don't care about Disney canon. We're bringing back canon, real canon. We're bringing back the EU. We're bringing back the stories you wanted when Disney bought this, because they had gold. They had everything they needed. I mean, we could get a good Darth Vader movie. We could get a good Darth Vader movie. We get all this stuff. Let those two are the hope, I believe. We could all be wrong. Maybe Filoni and Favreau are playing us by doing what we want right now, just so they can get in charge and then go like, okay, now it's our turn to do whatever the hell we want. Maybe they're doing that. I don't think so, because they've been a part of this for a while now. And Lucas, every time you see pictures of the Mandalorian right now, not every time, but there's been several pictures out there where Filoni, Favreau, and Lucas are right there next to each other, and Kathleen Kennedy's like kind of in the back. And this tells me that Lucas is literally, without saying a word, showing Disney, these guys right here, if you want my money and what I made, these are your guys right here. These are who you want to listen to. Because if they come in and become in charge of Lucasfilm, I guarantee you, George Lucas will be on boards. He will be in the writing processes. He may not get paid for it. He may just stop in and say, "Hey guys, how you doing? What you got?" "Oh yeah, well that's a pretty good idea right here. That's a lot like what I would do. I don't know about this part, but I like this. I like that. I wouldn't do this because that's not really Star Wars." And he'll just do it out of just because he's cool with them, and then he'll leave, and they'll keep working. But you'll get a lot more chances of Lucas actually having his hands on it again if those two are in charge. Or if one of them is in charge, one of them is creatively the one in charge.
They love Star Wars.
They do.
They love it. They're all, and they're from the OG. They're from the 80s. They're from the 90s. You know, they want to bring what they love into it, and I can respect that. You know, you're seeing it in the Mandalorian. You know, they're trying to figure out how to represent themselves. Well, not Filoni, but Favreau into this whole series. You know, so I think they're doing a great job right now.
They are.
As far, you know, and giving them credit where credit's due. You know, these are people who love Star Wars. Oh, and you know.
Oh, say that again.
Oh wow, I'm happy with them. I don't care about their gender. The new director, what is her name? So we did 3, and yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah,
you know?
And like I said,
she's doing a great job.
She's going to be in charge of Obi-Wan, from what I've heard. Now,
right, well, great. I'm happy about that. And I do feel like go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Keep going. You're good.
I do feel that if she's gonna keep bringing, I feel that she's gonna do an amazing job with Obi-Wan, and it's great. These are people that love Star Wars, and they're showing their talent. This is what we want to see. If Kathleen Kennedy would just focus on these people like Chow, and you know, she's not a white male or female, that shouldn't matter. She should have focused on people giving us great Star Wars content and great Star Wars stories. And you know, I say, for me personally, I'm done. Like with the last trilogy, I want to move on to bigger and better things for Star Wars.
Indeed.
If you're a Star Wars fan, you want to be happy for Star Wars. You don't want to be critiquing it every single time you see something. You know what I mean? I don't watch the next Star Wars episode. Okay, let me focus on if it's let me focus what I can find that's wrong with it. That's what SJWs do. Leave that shit to them. I'm just gonna focus. Okay, I like the story. Let me see where it's going. This is great. You know, that's what I want to see. I just want to see a good story. That's it. I think any fan wants to see that, and I agree with you. I think in the future, if we're gonna concentrate, if Disney really wants to change it up, they should focus on their mistakes that they did with this whole trilogy. This trilogy should be like a lesson not to do. You know, they should teach this in school. This is how you fuck up a trilogy. Let's focus on, if you want to focus on this trilogy, that's what they should focus on. What not to do with the trilogy.
Well, let's give credit where credit's due with the Phantom Menace here right now. Jeremy, Doomcock, Nerdrotic, Odin, all these people have been talking about The Last Jedi for 2 years, like you said. And because of that, now granted, this movie may have been kind of a train wreck. It doesn't finish anything because they basically start and finish what was in it in this movie. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's a trilogy thrown into a 2-hour movie. But to give credit where credit's due, these people in the Phantom Menace, Nerdrotic, Jeremy, Odin, Doomcock, a lot of others, Mary Mayhem, Mecca, Tom and Rob from Midnight's Edge After Dark. These people have called
everyone
firestorm.
Every youth who spoke
Disney up did listen to. Go see this movie for one reason. Go see this movie because what you're going to see is Disney's version of reaction. They're like, oh crap, we have to do something. And this was the best they could do. Is it the right way? No. But because of this happening, this is because Disney realized we are in trouble. And this is what we got because of that. And that's okay. I mean, I'm all right with that. And like I said, I didn't hate the movie. I like the movie. It just doesn't finish anything. It all starts and it finishes within this. Because if you had started it that way, not necessarily showing the Emperor, But if you had started in 7 with Snoke something, and maybe Snoke was just a vision that the Emperor was projecting to use or whatever, say what you will. But if you had led it up to where at least at the end of 7 you might think the Emperor was still alive, you could have played this way. And then Luke still realizes his job isn't done, whatever. I don't know. But this was a direct result of Disney realizing that they let something happen to Star Wars that never should have happened. And that was not listening to the fans. Even Lucas listened to the fans. That's why we got the prequels, because people wanted to see how Anakin turned. It wasn't that we didn't know where the whole prequels were going. We knew where they were going. We knew that when you saw Anakin at the beginning, you knew where it was going in the end. And Comic Chat, you're absolutely right. It says, come on, man. I've told you canon is a dangerous double-edged sword. More people watch versus read. As long as the case canon will never be given the importance fanboys want to be. And that's true. But, this isn't all about canon. Again, watch The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian does not follow canon constantly. It messes up in places, but it still honors Star Wars. You don't have to necessarily follow canon to a T. Because, again, Marvel, DC, when you talk about canon, you're talking now 2 different types of canon. You have movie canon and you have the comic book canon. In Star Wars, you had the EU canon and then you had the movie canon. But the movie canon is not the same in this trilogy that it was in the other trilogies. If you followed only the stuff that we knew from the other trilogies, you would have been okay. But they didn't. They changed a lot of stuff. And by doing so, it makes it muddled. It makes it muddy. Again, I didn't mind this. I didn't mind The Force Awakens. I still don't mind The Last Jedi. But they're individual movies for me. They don't connect to each other. There's very little connective tissue when you're talking. And again, like I said, I have to judge this by a trilogy. And it just doesn't work together. There's nothing that shows that the Emperor is coming back. It's like just thrown in there, and it's obvious it's thrown in there. This movie is visually stunning. This movie there are so many parts in it that felt exactly like old Star Wars films, like when they're going through the town and they meet up with the old Spice Runner. All the way that was shot, the way that they were walking in and out of the places, the little, hiding in that little hut or that little building, that's very Star Wars. It felt Star Wars. But this is all stuff that we have no context for.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying, everything in this movie, a lot of it was Star Wars. A lot of it felt Star Wars.
You're talking about the Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, a lot of it felt like Star Wars. The way it was shot, the scenes, the way that just the look of it felt Star Wars. Again, much like the Force Awakens, I saw Star Wars in that. That's because J.J. Abrams knows how to shoot a movie. But again, when you start tearing apart what you're seeing, it loses.
Yeah, we can go back to this 1,000 million times, and if they would have done this, if they would have done that, and the truth is they didn't have a plan, it didn't work, and it's done. We can't recon what they already messed up. He had the opportunity, it didn't happen. Moving forward, we can look back on this whole trilogy and say, this is how you don't make a Star Wars. This isn't how you should do any kind of trilogy. This is a great reference to how not to do a trilogy. And we're always going to have our takes on how they should have developed it. I mean, like you're saying, if they would have brought Palpatine from the beginning or, hinted at it. And J.J. Abrams never had Palpatine in plan. I do think he did say that right after he had a script already early. I do remember him saying that. But as far as analyzing it all the time, I mean, this is going to happen forever. They're always going to look back and say, if they would have done this, if they would have done that. Now we just have to move on to, like The Mandalorian, and focus on Star Wars. Like you say, canon isn't always going to relate in the way we want it to perfectly with the EU, but as long as it can parallel closer to making more sense than what we got in. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, I see your point, and I think you're absolutely right. You can't always take from the EU and make it perfect to exactly fit the EU, but at least give it some kind of foundation to go into a story.
Mm.
I think that's the hit and miss they missed in this whole trilogy. If they would have, let's analyze it. Like, if they would have taken the actual grandkids and made this trilogy out of it, that would have been awesome too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And done their own version of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't happen, and now we have to. Well, nobody has to do anything, but I'm looking forward to better and bigger things. Mm-hmm. If they bring in better people to start, saying, okay, like the Phantom Menace is saying, don't virtual signal, don't give us a shitty storylines. Like all these YouTubers you're saying, they're speaking out. It's not only the YouTubers, it's people who are sick of this whole movement of not giving us great storylines, always putting in politics into stories. Mm-hmm. I mean, put politics into stories that need to have politics in them, basically, and keep movies just to what people want to see. We don't want to see all this. That's why people want to come to the movies, to get away from that shit, everyday life of, mm-hmm. Problems and stuff.
Well, that's why. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I was going to say that's why I think this movie does do what it's supposed to do. It does. Mm-hmm. It entertained me. It kept me out of the reality. I didn't walk out pissed off. Mm-hmm. I walked out going like, well, it was predictable. It was predictable what mm-hmm. they did. I liked it. It looked pretty. It was all that. I was entertained, extremely entertained. Mm-hmm. But I have to, again, I've said this since I've came into this community. I was mm-hmm. going to wait until this was out so that I could look at mm-hmm. it as a trilogy. These are one-offs. And honest to God, you're right when you say they could have focused on the grandkids. They could have done this without Han Solo, without Leia. And I would have put Luke in, but what I would have more done is have like Rey go to Octu and mm-hmm. find the books and spend time by herself there, and then finally have Luke as a Force ghost. Don't explain why. Just say he's a Force ghost. Don't try to go into anything about he tried to kill Kylo or anything. Just show him as a Force ghost, and he could have been like, what are you trying to do? Why are you here? What is your purpose here? I'm here because all Force, all Jedi have come back to this spot.
Well, I think you have to bring in, I mean, if you're going to finish the trilogy with the grandkids, you have to bring in the original cast, to tell that story. And if this movie, okay, you're going to take it this version of, Ben being the only grandson, okay, but they should have introduced the new characters later in the trilogy. You know what I mean? Focus more on the original cast and lead slowly into the new characters, introduce them slowly, and that would have been more successful for this trilogy. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, halfway through episode 8 is where you start to see the new characters take over from the old characters. The first movie should be mostly the old characters in charge of the story, in charge of what's going on, the movement, and then everything. And you introduce the new characters into it. And then as the 8th episode goes forward, that's when the new characters start to take and become their own characters, and they mm-hmm. then move halfway through past the old characters, and they become the driving force now. And in the 9th movie, that's when all of the new characters finally fulfill what they're supposed to be doing. That's how you do it. That's what they did with episode 4, 5, and 6. You got new characters introduced to us, and then as they went along, they became more and more important, and their roles became more and more defined. We didn't get that Finn doesn't have anywhere he's different from the end of 7 to the end of 9. He really doesn't.
Not only that,
compelling character.
But they introduced characters we didn't even need either.
No.
And scenes we didn't even need. They didn't focus on any character. They didn't do justice to the new ones nor the originals. And that's where they lacked. And now episode, I'm going to be honest, episode 9, I have to see it again. It was so fast. And it just, I think this movie was rushed so much and predictable to the ultimate, I did enjoy a lot of sweet moments like Luke and Leia training. Luke training Leia, that was nice. Even with
that should have been
people are critiquing how they look. Who gives a shit? That was an awesome scene. Also, Han and Kylo Ren. I think Kylo Ren's character in this movie was good. I liked it. I liked how he fought the Knights of Ren. I liked and then the fighting scenes were a little bit more better, but they're so short in this movie.
Yeah.
I really have to watch it. Like if I'm gonna give my real opinion on this movie, I really have to watch it again and focus on seeing again. Because I can sit here and say this, and that, but the truth is I have to watch it again and really focus on, because it was so fast, and I just need to watch it again and really get into, because when you see something for the second time, you kind of analyze it better.
Yeah.
If you're really into it. So I'm going to, you've done it. You've seen it twice. So I'm going to have to do that. But I did like it better than The Last Jedi. I think The Last Jedi just is a totally different movie I just don't like The Last Jedi. It doesn't fit into anything. And I honestly think they should have just I don't think the way he's directing either is that great, J.J. Abrams. And I like J.J. Abrams movies other than Star Wars. I'm not really big on his Star Trek ones because I really don't know. And I do like those. I know people are like, no, those are horrible. I don't know. I'm not a big Trekkie. But as far as his other work, I like some of his other movies. And I really thought he was going to do an amazing job with Night. Well, not amazing, but at least do a little bit more, took more time into it. And you can tell in this movie, he didn't take that quality time and he didn't explain it that great in the movie. But as far as the movie's concerned, I'm going to have to watch it again to really analyze it. But yeah, so it is what it is. And I did like it better than The Last Jedi. And it was the interactions with the new characters. I mean, Daisy, Poe, and John Boyega. I do feel if they would have really given these characters their arc from the beginning, they could have made a great trio. They did, because they really enjoy working together in real life. You can see them in interviews. They really like it, and I honestly think they cheated them too. They really did cheat the new characters.
And I think that's why we're getting a lot of the backlash.
And that's pretty sad because they wanted their epic moment too in Star Wars history.
They wanted something that fans wanted, and I don't think they were given that opportunity.
Yeah, and then people shit on them all the time. Yeah, shit on the character. Yeah, but not on the people. And I know some of them speak out. We're all human. We all say things. Nobody wants to be attacked. And it's hard to be perfect as an actor, but I honestly feel like, they were cheated out, just like the original cast. Totally, I give them respect because they were annihilated in this trilogy. But as far as the new characters, I feel bad for them too because it's epic, but it shows their quality. As far as Adam Driver's concerned, I think he's an amazing actor, and I honestly think they all did their best with what they were given. I really do.
Now I kind of got the feeling after this was over that we may not be done with Ray. I don't know that, but maybe. Now, I want to thank you for your time today. I want to give you a second to go ahead.
Thank you,
people. In the chat, everything about you. Go ahead and tell them where to find you, what you're about, all that stuff. Just before that, though, I want to let you know that you can find her Twitter information and her YouTube page down below in the description box. If go ahead and tell me one more time what your Instagram is.
Oh, okay. My Instagram is JGG for life. I made it like my name because it's easy like that. It's Jeremy Geeks and Gamers
Yep.
for life,
Mhm.
basically.
I put that
And
in the
what
channel.
I do on what I do on that Instagram is I take memes, I take I get a lot of things that people send me. I try to put all the stuff that you can't put like on, you know, that fans want to see, like all the memes, all the stories, like all the when Jeremy's like, "Hey, fuck you," you can put it on there and and just put out what you want to really see from Geeks and Gamers. And people send me clips, people send me pictures, people send me memes. So I just put it on the Instagram page. And it's growing on its own. It's always grown. People just, come on there and, hey, they message me, can you put this on the page? Boom, you got it. And I give everyone credit. Like, I ask them, what do you want me to tell people on the page? Oh, tell them to follow me on Twitter. Tell them to follow me on Instagram. Tell them so that's basically what the page is really fans interacting with each other.
Yep.
So that's my baby. That's what I've been promoting forever. And then I'm gonna have a cooking channel coming up next year. I'll keep people posted on Twitter on that, and also I have a reaction channel to things that I like in movies, and it's just me having fun. It's that channel, the one you put in the description box, is just me doing reactions to trailers. I'm not like a reviewer, a professional reviewer. It's just me like, hey, I like this and that. It's just a fun reaction channel. That's basically it. And I just love being part of the Fandom Menace. I really believe in what we're saying, and I really enjoy interacting with all my friends. And I'm a huge Geeks and Gamers fan, and that's who brought me into this whole community. So I really appreciate that too.
Indeed. All right. Well, you don't see it, but I'm going to keep you here for just a second longer. We've got the Wheel of Names. That's how you were picked. I did a quick little jump on to a live stream the other night, and I spun it again because the person that landed on Wednesday night was not able to do it. And again, Ruthy, I thank you so very much for jumping in. Sean says that you should take over the Real Review 3000. But this is how I pick my guests. So everybody that's on this is the new wheel. This is the old wheel of names. I have a new wheel of names. So as you get taken off of this wheel, you go on the new wheel of names, and we'll figure out what we're doing with that. Now, I basically spin this. It'll pick who's going to be on Monday night. And we're going to go back to once a week. Next week, we did all live streams this week because of the Rise of Skywalker, other things I had planned. It really worked out best for me like this. So next week, it'll be back to just Mondays at 7:30. Again, check out Ruthy and all of the stuff she does. Like I said, I put her Instagram in the chat, JGG for life on Instagram. And then her other information is down in the description box below. So make sure you check her out and subscribe and follow her on Twitter. Great. And like she said, she helps everybody out in this community, and she helps spread, retweet, spread everybody's information and help people promote themselves. She does some great graphics for a lot of us. Does a ton of stuff. So go check her out and help support her and her work she does for the Fandom Menace. But we're going to spin this wheel right now. Just goes round and round and round and round and round until it picks somebody. So that's really all you're going to. You can go back and watch this on the stream later, I guess. And it looks like it's going to be Lethal Lightning. Now, actually, oh, wow. Honstar. How about that? Honstar left earlier. But we will definitely.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he is. I'm just going to make sure that it works with his schedule because, again, it's all based off of schedule. I have 3 right now that are we're working on scheduling. So we'll get to those also. But we got him on there. So with all that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and play our outro, and we're going to be done. Thank you guys for coming tonight. We appreciate it very much. And
bye.
Yep, take it easy, guys.
Hey, guys, thanks for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe to both channels, and make sure to check out our friends in the Fandom Menace. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and BitChute. And you can also send us an email at sean@seanstackhousereacts.com and Chris Knight at therealreview3000.com. Be sure to swing by our Teespring store to pick up some awesome merchandise.